The question I hear most often is, how do I forgive someone who hurt me so very bad? And I get that. Forgiving another person is probably the most difficult thing that a person will do in their lifetime. It seems almost impossible to do, and I would agree with you. It is impossible for us, but not for God. For God, all things are possible. There is so much beauty I have seen in my life as I traveled the world. I saw a sunset over the plains of Kazakhstan that took your breath away. I went to see Niagara Falls in wintertime with all the icicles producing a light show when the sun shone upon them. Every year in DC in April, you could see the Cherry Blossom Festival, a truly beautiful sight to behold. However, I have never seen anything as beautiful and heartwarming as when someone forgives another person. The first time I saw forgiveness in process, it changed my life. My dad and my aunt, my mom's older sister, didn't get along for many years. Why? I don't know. I'm sure over some very silly and petty and unimportant things. It would be really awkward when my aunt would visit us and her mom, who lived with us, especially during holidays. Sometimes they would yell at each other, sometimes just give each other a silent treatment. It was really hard to watch, because you always want your family to get along. And that was my grandmother's dream, for everyone to get along. One time, my aunt's husband was helping my dad with our roof. A great guy. But something really horrible happened. He fell from the roof and died on the way to the hospital. On the day of the funeral, I saw my dad with tears in his eyes and my grieving aunt make up and give each other a hug. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, when two people forgave each other. It has been over 20 years, and I still remember that moment. I know my grandmother was happy, because just a few months later, she passed away in peace of mind that her family was whole again. Nothing in this world can ever compare to this when forgiveness happens. Not the most beautiful sunset or beautiful starry night. My own journey to God, discovering the truth of Christianity, the truth about God and His Son, about what the meaning of this life really is. It all came out from experiencing forgiveness in my life. And it was so powerful that I would say that my life would have worked out much differently otherwise. When I was growing up, I was a timid, scared little guy, an easy target for bullies. I had so much built-up anger and grief that it affected all areas of my life. I really was a miserable and angry person. Thankfully, I was introduced to God in the Catholic high school. God who forgives, God who loves, and God who empowers us. Once I experienced the power of the forgiving God, Jesus Christ, I was able to forgive my enemies, forgive all the people who hurt me and scared me. And that was, my friends, the most liberating experience in my life. Even though it was very difficult to face my fears and my resentments, even though I still had anger and fear, I was emboldened and empowered by the grace of God. God truly made my life better. He changed me through His grace. That is why I am a priest today because I want you to know the power of God, the power of His love for you and me. He can help you if you let Him. He really and truly can help you let go of your anger and all of your resentments. But first and foremost, you need to practice forgiveness in your life. A relationship with God, an ability to have an intimate connection with Him, and then our spiritual journey, these are not possible without experiencing and practicing forgiveness. When we have hatred, anger, and unresolved issues with our family, friends, or anybody, we cannot live a life of God. It is a huge obstacle in front of us, an obstacle, or rather a wall, which will bar us from God and the blessed life that He is offering. Our prayers are useless unless we forgive. Our fasting is useless until we forgive. And our generosity and our good heart are useless until we forgive all people in our life. And that is because Jesus Christ is the God of forgiveness, telling us to forgive others, even those who hurt us and did wrong to us. In addition to that, our hatred and our unwillingness to forgive will affect all our human relationships with our family and friends. This is even more of a reason to start on the path of letting go of our resentments. Believe me, you will truly understand what it means to be free and not shackled by hatred and resentment. The question I hear most often is, how do I forgive someone who hurt me so very bad? And I get that. Forgiving another person is probably the most difficult thing that a person will do in their lifetime. It seems almost impossible to do, and I would agree with you. It is impossible for us, but not for God. For God, all things are possible, as the scriptures say. You need the grace of God to do extraordinary and supernatural things. And forgiveness, my friends, is truly extraordinary and truly supernatural, because forgiveness is something that God does. God forgives. We make mistakes. It has been said, to err is human, but to forgive is divine. I have 3 recommendations to help you start on the path of forgiveness, on the path of letting go. Forgiveness is not really a moment, but rather a process. First, you need to have a desire to forgive. All you need to do is say, God, help me to forgive. I want to forgive. I say you need to have a sincere desire to let go of the hurt and pain inflicted by another. Second, pray. Pray for the strength from God to let go of your resentment. Without prayer, without asking God for help, you will not be able to forgive. And third, pray for the person that hurt you. These 3 steps need to be intentional and can definitely help you break free from this prison in which you might have been for all of these years. When Jesus was being tortured for our sins, crucified for our iniquities, and put to a horrible death, do you remember His prayer on the cross? He was praying for forgiveness of His enemies. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. If God forgave us for crucifying His only Son, He expects us to forgive others. and He will grant you the grace to do it. I guarantee you that if you have forgiveness in your life, it will be the most liberating experience in your life. Experience that will change you and change your life. An experience that will set you free from your inner unrest and truly grant you peace. Amen.